Top 5 events to trade on an economic calendar. Taking out political events, let's look at 5 events which regularly come up on the calendar which cause big interest from clients and cause movement in markets. Number 1, the FOMC meeting. The importance of an FOMC meeting can change from month to month, and there's only 8 of them in a year. But when they are impactful, they can be dramatic and they can cause huge influences across all asset classes. And that's why I think the FOMC meeting is arguably the most important driver on the calendar on a month-to-month basis. Number 2, individual speakers from the Federal Reserve. Given the importance of the FOMC meeting, in the lead-up to the meeting, we can get key people from the FOMC giving individual speeches, and therefore those in themselves are very, very important because they set the expectations for the Fed meeting. So when you see someone from the Fed speaking specifically on the core of the inner sanctums of the Federal Reserve, they can really move markets around as we try and make sense of what could happen in that Fed meeting. Number 3, all other Tier 1 central bank meetings. We also need to consider other central banks. The price taker central banks, such as the European Central Bank, the Bank of England, the RBA, the RBNZ, the Bank of Canada, amongst others. Now, they may not have the same sort of influence and gravitas across a broad range of markets, but the influence they can have on their own domestic currency and equity market can be quite important indeed, and therefore pose a significant event risk to traders. Number 4, the non-farm payrolls. We always look at the non-farm payrolls. It's the Mac Daddy of data releases. Everyone gets very excited about payrolls numbers. What's the job number going to look like? What's the unemployment rate going to look like? What's the wage growth going to look like? What's the participation rate going to be? And that can give us really a good understandings about the inflation-deflation debate, but also perceptions of changes in monetary policy and settings as well. So the non-farm payrolls always gets a good look in from clients and traders. Number 5, GDP. GDP, or growth domestic products, always one that people bring out as a potential volatility event and a highlight for the economic calendar. I think that's a misconception. GDP by its nature is looking in the rearview mirror. It's about events and economic changes that have happened in the past. We're always forward looking as traders. So for me, GDP becomes somewhat less irrelevant to more other fast moving and high frequency data points. For more information, visit compareforexbrokers.com.